Welcome to Review Central. This is Real Estate Exam Reviewer number 1, featuring questions on government agencies involved in housing development and finance. This reviewer is intended for those who are eyeing or are set to take the Philippine Real Estate Brokers examination given by the Professional Regulation Commission. There are 10 questions featured on this reviewer. All questions are modeled on actual questions that appeared on previous real estate exams. Let's begin. Question number 1. Which of the following government agencies is in charge of the overall strategies for the country's national housing program? A. National Housing Authority. B. Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council. C. Pag-IBIG Fund. D. Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board. The correct answer is B. Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council. Created under Executive Order No. 90, the Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council, or HUDCC, was charged with the main function of coordinating the activities of the government housing agencies to ensure the accomplishment of the National Shelter Program. It is the policymaking body and performs administrative oversight functions as mandated by EO 90. Question number 2. It administers Provident Fund contributions collected from member employees and employers, utilizing funds not required for Provident benefits for housing loans for members, and is charged with the development of savings schemes for home acquisition by private and government employees. A. HDMF. B. SSS. C. GSIS. D. HLURB. The correct answer is A. HDMF. HDMF, or the Home Development Mutual Fund, is the Provident Fund for housing according to its mandate set forth in PD 1530, PD 1752, and RA 7742, performing a support role in the interplay. Question number 3. It implements the government's resettlement programs. A. National Housing Authority. B. Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board. C. Housing and Urban Development Coordinating Council. D. Home Guarantee Corporation. The correct answer is A. National Housing Authority. The National Housing Authority, or NHA, implements the government's resettlement programs. It is the sole government agency engaged in direct shelter production. It is mandated to focus its efforts in providing housing assistance to the lowest 30% of urban income earners through slum upgrading, squatter relocation, development of sites and services, and construction of core housing units. In addition, it shall undertake programs for the improvement of blighted urban areas and provide technical assistance for private developers undertaking low-cost housing projects. Development of its existing properties for housing projects for income earners above the lowest 30% may be continued, provided that funds generated thereon are utilized for the attainment of its primary mandate. Question number 4. PD 1267 mandates it to act as secondary mortgage market institution. A. HUDCC. B. HLURB. C. NHA. D. NHMFC. The correct answer is D. NHMFC. The National Home Mortgage Finance Corporation, or NHMFC, is mandated to act as secondary mortgage market institution, as per PD 1267. The NHMFC is the major government home mortgage institution. Its initial main function is to operate a viable home mortgage market, utilizing long-term funds principally provided by the Social Security system, the Government Service Insurance System, and the Home Development Mutual Fund, to purchase mortgages originated by both private and public institutions that are within government-approved guidelines. It is also charged with the development of a system that will attract private institutional funds into long-term housing mortgages. Question number 5. Republic Act 8763 mandates the Home Guarantee Corporation, or HGC. A. As the guarantor of housing loans. B. To assist private developers undertake low to middle income mass housing production. C. To encourage private institutional funds and commercial lenders to finance housing development and long-term mortgages. D. All of these. The correct answer is D. All of these. Republic Act 8763 mandates the Home Guarantee Corporation or HGC as the guarantor of housing loans. It is mandated to assist private developers undertake low to middle income mass housing production, and encourage private institutional funds and commercial lenders to finance housing development and long-term mortgages through a viable system of guarantees, loan insurance, and other incentives. Question number 6. It is the adjudicator and regulator which sets minimum housing standards. A. NHMFC. B. HUDCC. C. HLURB. D. NHA. The correct answer is C. The Housing and Land Use Regulatory Board or HLURB is the adjudicator and regulator which sets minimum housing standards, pursuant to EO 648 and EO 90. The HLURB is the sole regulatory body for housing and land development. It is charged with encouraging greater private sector participation in low-cost housing, through liberalization of development standards, simplification of regulations, and decentralization of approvals for permits and licenses. Question number 7. A supporting agency mandated to be the primary provider of funds for long-term housing mortgages for low and middle-income private sector employees. A. Pag-IBIG Fund. B. SSS. C. GSIS. D. DBM. The correct answer is B. The Social Security System or SSS is a supporting agency mandated to be the primary provider of funds for long-term housing mortgages for low and middle-income private sector employees. Question number 8. A supporting agency mandated to be the primary provider of funds for long-term housing mortgages for low and middle-income government employees. A. Pag-IBIG Fund. B. SSS. C. GSIS. D. DBM. The correct answer is C. The Government Service Insurance System, or GSIS, is a supporting agency mandated to be the primary provider of funds for long-term housing mortgages for low and middle-income government employees. Question number 9. HDMF is also known as A. Government Employees Mutual Fund. B. Disaster Relief Fund. C. Housing Emergency Fund. D. Pag-IBIG Fund. The correct answer is D. Pag-IBIG Fund. The birth of the Home Development Mutual Fund, more popularly known as the Pag-IBIG Fund, was an answer to the need for a national savings program and an affordable shelter financing for the Filipino worker. The fund was established in 1978 by virtue of Presidential Decree No. 1530, primarily to address these two basic yet equally important needs. Under the said law, there were two agencies that administered the fund, the GSIS and the SSS. Seeing the need to further strengthen the stability and viability of the two funds, Executive Order No. 538 was issued on June 4, 1979, merging the funds for private and government personnel into what is now known as the Pag-IBIG Fund. Presidential Decree 1752 made Pag-IBIG membership mandatory for all GSIS and SSS member employees. Question number 10. The law that created the National Housing Authority. A. Executive Order 90. B. Presidential Decree No. 757. C. Presidential Decree No. 1530. D. Presidential Decree No. 1267. The correct answer is B. On October 15, 1975, the National Housing Authority, or NHA, was organized as a government-owned and controlled corporation by virtue of Presidential Decree No. 757. NHA implements the government's resettlement programs, and is the sole government agency engaged in direct shelter production. You have just completed Real Estate Exam Reviewer Number 1, which featured questions on government agencies involved in housing development and finance. Check out our Real Estate Reviewer playlists for other Real Estate Exam Reviewer topics. If you haven't done so yet, please don't forget to subscribe to Review Central and click or press the bell button to make sure you get notified whenever we post a new reviewer or other review materials on this channel. Please like if you find this video useful and feel free to share to anyone who may also benefit from it. We wish you all the best on your forthcoming real estate broker's examination.